So just over 35 seconds to go before the start of the fourth and final race here from Rio, and it is all on. Everyone will be scrambling Stevie Morrison for the points. Remember, we've got 3 races so far, 3 different winners with Artemis Spain and Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, a bit less breeze here, like Pete says. You can see those boats on the front row. It's going to be, well, I don't know about impossible. It's going to be very unlikely that anyone's going to be able to wind it up and foil through this start line. So if you can lead, you've got that clean air. Like most sport events, front row tickets are going to be the key here. As we can see the United States at the top end. Will there be room? I think there will. Canfield's normally the master in this situation. 4 seconds to go. We're looking for the line to turn white. Who's got their timing right?
It's not going.
No room for Artemis here. Surely he's going to try and squeeze through, but it's too tight on board there. Too tight. Should be good news for the US here. Canfield is the master on the start in these light winds.
Yeah, Tommy's got a nice one out of the middle there as well, getting a whole fly, working super hard. So it'll be a super tight drag race with all 4 of those boats at 20 kph into Mark 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so, it's not quite happening as quick here, Pete, but it's so tense when it gets this light. The nerves you used to feel out of Mark 1, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? Effectively, if you can lead after the first manoeuvre from Mark 1, you're feeling pretty good for the race.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, you normally get 1 opportunity to take off. You know, I think the Aussies got it airborne there up at 30, Americans as well, so that consequence of if you just get an H1 or just get the takeoff, you're really gone.
Yeah, look at gate 2 though, it's off the left-hand side of our screen. It's a handbrake turn here for most of the teams, I'd suggest. You've got to manoeuvre early. We've got a shorter course for this last race. Start even more heavily weighted, but this first manoeuvre, wow, pressure's on, teams.
It's a H1B? Yeah, I don't think we can cross.
And it's the Bonds Flying Ruse, the first to maneuver.
H1B. That means they're going to come out on 1 hull, but they've left the board in. You see on the left-hand side there, they've kept 2 boards in the water to help lift that hull up there. Jensen called it mid-manoeuvre, and it might have been the call of the day for the Bonds Flying Ruse, because they've stuck a great manoeuvre. They've still got speed. Can they get back up to 30? Middle of the pack. Well, it's tight. North Star are foiling. Artemis are foiling, but they've got manoeuvres to do. There's a traffic jam in the middle of the race course.
Take it down on the H1 here.
So it's the Bonds Flying Ruse after mark number 1 that have the lead. Remember, their report card on the day, they started off great in 2nd place, dropped back to 8th in race number 2, and they were 3rd race, they finished in 3rd.
I just missed Germany behind us.
Super tough first jibe there for the Americans. You know, they had an awesome reach. Good start again, like you said, Stevie, but yeah, it's tough first jibe to really put them into the back. But you see,
this is the umpires.
Both Aussie doing a great
penalty
job
Sweden,
jibe and Denmark. So
not giving room at the boundary, go behind GBR.
Craig Mitchell doling out some penalties to Artemis.
I think in this light winds as well, any penalty is so costly. They've got to drop back behind Emirates GBR here. So you've got to see, you want to take it as soon as possible before the gap gets too much. Good news for them could be that Emirates GBR get foiling. They are foiling. That might not hurt too much in that case for Artemis here. Outeridge can probably just keep sailing and the penalty will take itself away. But the Bonds Flying Ruse, they're down the road here. Easy left turn. They're just going to head leg 2 of 5 here. So they're just heading upwind and then a short downwind leg before they head to the finish.
This is a dream race course if you get ahead early, because not only is it a short course, but also you can see all the boats lining up. Most of them will be looking to take that left turn, so really hard to catch up, but easy once you're ahead.
Pete, we've got on the right-hand side of our screen there, you can see North Star are seemingly just sailing around the outside of the US team here. How do you sail through the disturbed wind of another boat like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it really gives you some opportunities if you are at the back in this light here. You kind of see North Star on one side, Spain on the other, you know, up and foiling, and all the others in the middle. When the boats are going fast, they actually create a lot more bad air than when they're H2 going slow. So if you can get fast from behind and carrying on through, then you really give yourself some opportunities to make some big gains.
As we take you on board Butler Brazil, this is the Tim Brazil 5G POV. There you see the flight controller, Rasmus Kostner, just stepping out of view. They are currently in 12 Stevies, or 11th, I should say. They have some work to do.
Yeah, they got some work to do. It's almost like they knew we'd just switched camera to them and they didn't want to be on screen. But yeah, it's an incredible view to actually get in the cockpit there and see those controls that the flight controllers are using. Very confusing on the racetrack right now. We've got the Bonds Flying Ruse coming upwind. Artemis, Butler Brazil, they're going downwind. They're heading away from Mark 1 still. They're way at the back. You can see Los Gallos. Well, they're showing us 9th, but they are foiling on the right-hand side of our screen. They're going to have space, but if they fall off the foils here, it'll be a park again. Can the Spanish tickle? No, they're going to be. It's going to be a rebuild for them. They're going to have to try and gain speed, but they're on their own. Good pressure ahead, Diego says. Good pressure's good news.
So it's the Bondsflying Rouge, Rockwell, Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank, North Star, Canada, and Los Gaios, your top 5, with US SailGP sitting on the outside currently in 6th. Remember, this is all about getting as many points as you can in each race. So on the last race of the day, you were in the top 3, and you're racing in the event final.
Big lift and pressure.
See there for Australia. We've got a nice bit. Here we go. Let's have a little look here. We've got wind speed on board Denmark, and Spain is similar. Speeds are similar. There you go. So there's not huge gains happening around the course right now.
Might be able to foil around it.
You can just see here.
Huge lefty there. Righty.
So Slingsby's saying the wind's rotated to the bottom left-hand corner of our screen. That means he's going to be sailing nearly straight up the ladder lines. But the problem is, you can't just sail straight to the gate here, Hannah, can you? It's going to force Slingsby into a couple of extra manoeuvres, and it's a really hard choice at this next gate.
I think we might be going to a right turn here towards the finish. We've got really, really short course for this final race, but when the breeze is shifting around in direction so much, you really want the boats to kind of fall in line behind you if you're leading. So really tricky decision making, especially look how slow they're going now out of this manoeuvre. If anyone can get up and foiling on the sides of the course, this might put their lead at risk.
Next little bit of pressure.
Yeah, that's right. This one, they're actually going to go round this gate. They're going to head downwind, a very short one, and then they're going to take a left turn to the finish. See, middle of our screen, there's one mark on its own, just near Rockwell. They're going to have to go through the gate, and then they've got a very short downwind leg. As we've seen, this race is far from over, Todd.
There you see the speeds on the mast right now. No one has hit the magic number of 30, although Emirates GBR is sitting at 36. They're the low ones, but they are on the far right-hand side of your screen. And look at Artemis coming on strong now, as Nathan Outridge has found the secret sauce. He's up to 35 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, it is the Bondsflying Rouge just trying to find some pressure to bring this thing home and claim a victory.
Here, we might have to go back down there.
Yeah, that left turn's looking super favoured now with the big right shifts. It'll be a big decision here whether you're straight downwind in H2, just taking the VMG, or you're actually trying to foil this last run. Looks like they're just going to take it downwind and play it safe.
Pete, how much harder is it on a race like this when it's so tight, so tense, and you just have 4 people on board? Are your head spinning around a little bit more than it normally would be?
Yeah, you're definitely super busy in this kind of race, especially in these conditions where you're foiling sometimes, trying to pick different modes. It looks like they're trying to get accelerated here to take off at the moment, so it's yeah, some big decisions, big consequences to making the right or wrong decision, and yeah, you've really got to choose the right mode the whole time.
That strategist role is so key and so important, especially on a day like today. As you see, Germany, Deutsche Bank now. They'll try to get around the outside of Rockwell, Denmark. Just behind them, North Star, Canada, and Giles Scott, Olympic gold medalists coming into view as well.
Yeah, it's tight here. Oh, Germany, what a job. They've popped it up on the foils there. But they've got to roll over the top of Rockwell. Rockwell have the right of way. They've got to go fast around the outside here if they can. Here we go. Rockwell take off as well. I think the hard thing in this light winds, Todd, is any decision you make, you're paying the consequences of it potentially for
You're going to live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You better be sure. Here we go. Leg 4 of 5. It is still Australia out in front. Denmark, Germany, Canada, USA, your top 5. Brazil, Mabutla Brazil has moved up to 6. So a great showing for Martini Grail.
Yeah, it's going to be tight at the finish here. You see Germany managed to pull off the foiling jibe there, still up and foiling. Australia did the jibe in H2, so they kind of committed to that low riding option. So yeah, I'd expect this to be super close between Germany and Aussie coming into Mark 1 to the finish.
Potentially Rockwell as well here, Todd. Yeah, look at
the speed. There we go. Chase time. Rolex chase time now. Down to 7 seconds between the Germans and the Australians.
That's right. So as they round the mark, the Australians have the right of way. As soon as they leave the mark, the Germans will be round the outside and they will then suddenly gain the right of way. Slingsby's got to get foiling quick. He's going to go wide. This is clever by Slingsby. He's having to avoid those other boats, and this is going to make, he's opening the door for the Germans. You've got to go around the outside, Eric.
H1B, be ready. No, it's okay.
Can they stay foiling? Look at that. Kevin Pepinay says H1B. Eric Heil says, don't you worry, my man. I've got this. And he swings it round the outside. They're still foiling. This is going to go the way of the Germans, Todd.
Super upwind to the finish here, so at some stage the Germany's going to have to head upwind, but it seems like Australia's got a penalty on the wing there. Have to see what happens.
Oh, this is going to be the worst possible time for that penalty to come in, and it does look like Germany Deutsche Bank is in position. How about this for a finish? The 4th and final race here in Brazil at the ENEL Rio Sail Grand Prix will go the way of Germany Deutsche Bank as Eric Heil Kosegarten brings it home. They scan the horizon, they see they've got clear waters, and the win will go to the Germans in race 4.
Really complex penalty for Australia here. It was because they were meeting boats on the other leg of the course. He's got to lose nearly 50 metres, and that's costed him places. Oh, I suggest we do not go on board the Australian boat right now because they are not going to be happy right there. That's a painful, painful penalty. They're still trying to bleed the distance relative to those other boats. More distance to lose. They're going to end up all the way back in fourth. For my money, that's still a pretty solid result. Oh, they've crossed the line now here.
Finished.
Yeah, we got him.
Find out where that penalty ends up paying off afterwards here. There could be a time penalty to go on top of that as well, which could put them behind Canada.
So it is Germany Deutsche Bank that gets the win. Denmark definitely gets second place, and then it becomes provisional. It looks like North Star Canada will get third. The Bonds Flying Roos may finish in fourth, may get fifth. US SailGP at top 5 as well.
Yeah, that's right. I was just checking in with Craig there, Todd, and we've heard from the umpire that the penalty was because they met those boats on the other leg of the course. They had actually cleared the penalty when they finished there, so where we see them in third, that is where they will finish that race. No further penalty to come for the Australians.
Yeah, nice comeback.
So what a race for Germany Deutsche Bank. Not really on our radar for most of that race, Stevie, Hannah, and Pete. And then they save the best for last, the penultimate leg. They make some big maneuvers, and they end up winning race 4.
100 to win.
Spain are going to get a good one out here. All these points are absolutely crucial at this time in the race. You can see France have been having a good one, but they're at the back at the moment. Spain, they dig out a 6th. It's not what they would have hoped for today, but sometimes averages can be good enough.
Yeah, the team that's having a tough day today is GBR, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've come off such a run of form, and obviously that incident with the foil in the first race, but these last couple have been painful to watch.
Yeah, we see here 6th place for Spain, but Artemis have got the right of way once they get in that circle. He's got to watch out for Phil Robertson. Phil Robertson loves a scrap, and we've got a scrap coming on here. As they enter the circle, Artemis will gain the right of way. Robertson's trying to keep them out of the circle. Look at Robertson. Look how aggressive he is. He's sailing. All the boats are going to have to do extra manoeuvres here. Match race, 2 times match race world champion Robertson.
What's gone?
Super aggressive. He owns the mark, but he's going to be very, very slow. Martini needs to get out of the way.
Kyle, board up.
That's coming.
And
They've got to do a 180-degree turn here, Todd. Martini's going to try and keep the speed. You've got no rights there, Martini. You've got no rights there, Martini. Oh, Mubadala Brazil, you're going to get yourself a penalty.
Yep, you're board up.
She's just about giving enough room, but I think she's got to give room to Artemis as well. Oh, if they have a touch here. This is tight. That's brave from Martini there. What an aggressive manoeuvre by here. I think she's judged it perfectly, but can they re-accelerate on board that Brazilian boat?
This is the battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the points that accompany it as Phil Robertson threads the needle inside there, doing a little dance with Martini Grail, a little samba, probably unintentional. Stevie, apologies stealing your line there, but here comes Artemis now in 9th. They want a piece of this action as well.
Artemis got really slow. Phil Robertson, all that commentary Phil Robertson was giving us there wasn't for our benefit, it was for Craig Mitchell's. Trying to make it clear he was doing everything he could to keep clear, but Martini, wow, super aggressive. She could well get good reward for that. Fastest boat at the moment going around the outside, and we've seen how crucial points are.
Board down on board. Board down.
Oh, and it looks like it is going to be Red Bull Italy, the team that won race number 3. They're going to get just enough speed to get 7th place.
Well, wow, they did well there, didn't they? They just managed to pop the hull up. Robertson, well, he loves a match race. He loves a fight, Phil Robertson, doesn't he, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, those kind of situations end up way more stressful than they should be, don't they? Where you've just kind of both parked up, and there's people behind you, the boats are super tight together, and yeah, you've just got to make sure there's enough space between the foils. People often don't remember, but the foils are a good chunk wider than the yacht. So, just making sure you keep the boats apart, and I think Brazil did a great job getting an extra point on Artemis there as well.
I just wanted to flow.
So it will be Brazil, the home team that finishes in 8th place, just 1 behind Red Bull Italy, the winners of race number 3. But the top honors in race number 4, 4 races, 4 different winners, and the final race goes the way of Germany Deutsche Bank. Congratulations to Eric Hauck.